It is about 7:27, as you can see. And, well, got some Sonic news, Archie Comics Sonic news. And it's not just about the comic itself or what's related to it. It's actually got to do with the company, too. That's right, Archie Comics itself. You see, over this past week, not this past weekend, like on Friday, a lot of you may have heard of, or at least caught a whiff, if you will, of a new lawsuit that's being thrown to um, into the picture, into the fire, if you will. Now, we all know that it was due to one thing that we had to, deal with, with the Ken Penders lawsuit, or at least Archie Comics had to deal with it. But now you have, I can't think of her name, but she is a CEO in the company. She's the wife of one of the founders of Archie Comics when they were known as under another name. But she's the widow of one of the founders, a founder that passed on many years ago. And basically, according to the report, this widow, who's a CEO in the company, or sort of a CEO, has been kind of causing trouble, if you will, for the company. And I think it's Jerry Goldston or Jerry Goldwater or whatever his name is, the other CEO. They had a court order issued against her to have her to cease and desist, basically not to cause any trouble. Well, according to this new lawsuit that he's filing, apparently she's causing trouble again. Now, basically, if you're a comic book fan and you're a fan of Archie Comics or a comic book fan in general, you might think this could be troublesome news. This could be some bad news. And the reason you might think that is due to the fact that, well, you're afraid that this lawsuit could end up eventually damaging the company as a whole, possibly shutting down the company in general. Now, we all know, let's be honest, we all know that's not going to probably happen. We know that the company's not going to be shut down, or any comics are going to cease and desist. But there are some people that are worried about the fact that it could get to that point. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, they apparently had dealt with this before. So it's not a big deal, I guess, to the people at Archie Comics. It's not that big of a deal, because if it was a big deal, it'd be probably even more news spread. IGN and maybe G4 would catch wind of it. And heck, maybe even someone like Louis Limburg, the guy noticed in Ankara, would probably do a video on it or something. But, excuse me for a second. But, apparently, that's, again, though, like I said, sorry about that, I put my cat back in the garage. But apparently, like I said, this is exactly what a lot of fans are afraid of right now. They're afraid something like this may shut down the company. Now, I'm sure, again, they have reason to be afraid, but like I said, they've dealt with this before. According to what people have said, they dealt with this before, and that's it. And nothing really bad has come out of it. Now, apparently, she's causing trouble, I guess, because they owe, just like Ken Penders or something like that, she wants money or something that's owed to her, or owed to her family. Now, you might ask yourself, well, Brian, how did you find out about this news? Well, I found out about it, believe it or not, and not surprisingly, through a Sonic comic book related message board or topic or discussion board on a message forum. And I can tell you this, there's a lot of people that are like, okay, that are kind of either being serious, joking around, or something like that, and they're going like, okay, Marvel and DC, buy up the comic, let's see what you can do. I guess they're so desperate for the comic to change that they're willing to say, Marvel, DC, come on in and do your thing. Now, that's apparently what's going on there. And honestly, I'm with the majority of people. I really don't think we're going to have to worry much about the comic whatsoever. Because Archie Comics because I believe Archie Comics has got enough power, and believe it or not, enough lawyers backing them up, that they're not going to have to worry one iota about this lawsuit that this lady's trying to, or this lawsuit or whatever. They don't have nothing to worry about. Now, speaking of the Sonic comics, you know, ever since Genesis occurred, and heck, even some are now pointing as far as the Iron Dominion saga, which lasted for about a year or so. But ever since that time, and ever since those epic, well, not epic, but ever since those events, if you will, there's been a lot of fans, long time, new time, you know, subscribers, non-subscribers, that, you know, who, you know, became fans of the comic through the games, became fans of the comic through certain cartoon shows. They all have the difference of opinion on what's happened. We all know that. But a lot of them are saying, there's some, even on deviantArt, that's right, deviantArt has a lot of fans that are saying, hey, they don't like what's going on. There's one fan, and I'll mention his name, Game Boy Sage. Game Boy Sage. Remember that name. Excuse me for a second. I gotta check another video I'm working on, recording. Now, the reason I say mention her name, Game Boy Sage, is because they are one of the DA or DeviantArt users and members that are actually coming out and saying, hey, I don't like what he's doing. And there's a lot of others that comment and agree with him on DeviantArt, whatever you want to call it, because they don't like what Ian Flynn's doing either. They don't. Excuse me for a second. Hey folks, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I was checking my video there that I'm recording onto a DVD. Now, like I said, Game Boy Sage is one of those fans out there on DeviantArt that doesn't like what's going on. They don't. They don't care for the fact that Ian Flynn has done this, and this person's got a lot of people that agree with them. There are some that have commented and said, hey, look, it's not as bad. I like what he's doing, blah, 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 just like you would see at the message boards. But Game Boy Sage is so upset about it. It obviously seems upset about it to the point that in his latest submission, which is a re-editing of the more recent cover preview for 236, he has come out and basically has said, pardon me for a second, but he's basically given the link, if you will. Game Boy Sage basically provided a link to the Archie Comics email, to the staff email, like the higher ups, if you will, to let them know, I guess, in his mind, how disappointed, how unhappy fans are with this whole change in direction. You know, and what's funny is Game Boy Sage actually, you know, used an example, which was X-Men, which apparently has been used as an example previously in the past. And basically Game Boy Sage has said, look, this is not the X-Men, this is Sonic. That's basically what they're saying. This is not X-Men without anthropomorphic characters. No. This is Sonic the Hedgehog. This is based on the game. It's supposed to be lighthearted. It's supposed to be adventurous. It's supposed to be fun to read.